What we have is not working. It's just not.
What do you mean it's not working?
I got a text yesterday or over the weekend of a buddy of mine says, I just heard 6 gunshots. 30 minutes later, I just heard 12 gunshots. 15 minutes later, I just heard 9 gunshots. 15 minutes later, I just heard 11 gunshots. That is no way to live. That is not a way to live.
If somebody saying that doesn't mean that it happened. It doesn't mean that it happened.
To me, yeah.
Well,
call in, Bo Holt. Were you lying?
We check every time that there is a discharge of a weapon that we're called about.
Well, he said he called every time. Did you get any calls?
I did not personally, but we'll check. Personally. We'll check. Yeah, we'll check.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I would disagree with you that it's not working. Could it be better? Absolutely. Could we have more police officers? Absolutely. This budget that we have proposed, we can go up to 530 officers.
That's not enough.
Well, how do you know it's not enough?
Because 500 is not enough, so what's 30 more going to do?
38% of a budget, on average, is spent for law enforcement. We spend 37%.
Well, we need to spend 48 because I'm telling you, if that's the average, it's
why are 5 of the 9 categories that we measure every day, day in and day out, down year to date this year over last year?
I don't know. I'm
giving you the facts. I'm going
by people. I guess they could be lying. I didn't consider the possibility that
it's not a matter of lying. But there are a lot of things that happen. We had celebratory fireworks over the weekend because it was Labor Day. We've got cars backfiring. We get a lot of things. Even with our shot spotters. And I'm going to make this up, but only about half of what gets reported in that shot spotters are actually gunfire. There are a lot of other big noises, clatter, that kind of stuff that's out there. So if there is gunfire in a particular area and it becomes a pattern, then we are going to investigate that and we're going to take measures to stop it. We've done that around the Baptist Hospital area, in that neck of the woods, even in other places where we were getting a rash of reports about gunfire. We set up some campaigns and we've addressed it.
Well,
but you're not going to keep people from shooting guns in the air just to be celebrating.
Sometimes they shoot them at people because
no. If they go up in the air, the bullets going to come down.
Well, I watched Darrell Bailey. He had some press conference. He said 80-something people have been shot in the last month and a half. That's a lot of people.
I don't think that's correct, but I'm having lunch with Darrell today. I'm going to ask him about that one because I've heard that reported as well. Now, some of those are self-inflicted. Some of those are self-inflicted.
Well, sure. I mean, if you shoot yourself, obviously that's not a crime.
Unfortunately, we had some suicides over the weekend.
Well, and that happens. It's tragic. Very tragic. It's very, very tragic.
But the other thing that happens, thing that happens is it's just like in the national media. Lots more gets reported today because, frankly, we're transparent. Every issue that comes up, we're the first out there to say this is what happened. We're almost inviting the press to be a part of it. I don't think, frankly, if I was really in charge and was a dictator, I don't know that we would be doing all of that. But that's where we want to be. We want open data. We want people to appreciate that.
I don't want to be perceived as negative Nancy here because I'm not. I think there's a lot of good things going on in Montgomery. Crime's probably the big bugaboo in this town.
Everybody wants to talk about it, but nobody wants to look at the facts. But look at the facts.
Yeah, I look at the facts.
The facts are that we're no different. We're no different than we were this time last year. We're better than in 5 of the 9 categories. Yep, we got about 2 or 3 more homicides. We've got some more aggravated assaults, but burglaries of business and residents, they're all down.
Start with Bo Holt.
Good morning.
Bo, you've never had a complaint in your life.
No, and I'm a little shaken up at the moment. I have a small piece to say, and I'd appreciate it if I can just get through it.
Keep it clean, and you can.
I love Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery is my home. It has been the home to my family since, around the early 1800s. I'm part of the original blue-blooded family of this town. There's not anybody else around here that loves this city more than I do. I've been called many things in my life, some of which are true, some are not. But I am not stupid. I do not hallucinate. And I'm dang sure not a liar. When I'm sitting on my porch at night and I hear gunfire to the south of me and to the west of me, I know good and dadgum well the difference between firecrackers, gunshots, and things of that nature. Now, I realize there is only so much that a mayor can do as far as going and holding hands of these people and having the police constantly babysit the people who are doing this. I know that is not going to happen, nor should it be the police to do it. But somehow or another, Mayor Falmer kept things under control. I know it's a different day and it's a different time, but we got to find some kind of way to make this city not be conducive for the flotsam to live here and thrive here and shoot up in the air. Bullets raining down that could hit somebody's head and kill them. I know it's destroyed my grandmother's roof at times when we had her house on Beaumont Drive. But I am not a liar. I was the one that was texting Barron about those the other night, sitting on my porch. And that's all I want to say right now. Thank you very much.
If you heard me say anything about lying, I apologize. That's not the case. Obviously, we've got celebratory gunfire on certain occasions. Obviously, we have shootings going on in Montgomery. To my knowledge, we had no incidents of people being shot or hit this weekend. I know we didn't have any homicides because I keep well aware of that. We have a shot spotter that would in fact have picked up some of those that you just talked about. I wish there was a way not to have so many guns out there, but we know that's not going to be the case. I wish I could tell you of the instances over the last 6 to 8 weeks where we have taken guns off the street, 5 of which were stolen. There was like 25 or 30 taken off the streets. We made 50 arrests for people that were doing bad things. There was a situation where we were able, through some intelligence, to arrest some folks that had bought a large amount of ammunition. Those are the stories that nobody hears about because we can't talk about them. We do hear about the celebratory gunfire and, frankly, other gunfire that's out there. All I can tell you is that I can show you, if you look at the statistics, that some of the highest homicide rates were during the 70s and the 80s. And that's when other people were in office. It is a societal issue, whether we had 1,000 police officers. Birmingham has like 657. Actually, we've got more than that. They got 700 plus officers. Their homicide rate's double ours. They got about 5,000 or 6,000.
Well, you're not going to stop people, and I say this all the time. I don't want to get shot, walking into Ligger's Bakery, or I don't want to get shot. And of course, I don't want anybody to. Right. But a lot of these shootings, there's no way the cops, even having more cops, is going to stop it. Having more cops may stop burglaries. It may stop armed robberies. It may slow down things of that, breaking in cars. But it's not going to stop one guy shooting another in a card game or over a girlfriend. You can't. There's no way you can police that.
Jack, there's a concept called victimology that if you're minding your own business, there's a low degree that you're going to be involved in something. But if you're involved in the things that you just talked about, there's a high degree, exponentially,
sure,
it increases that you're going to be a victim. Drugs, we need to have a 24/7 war on drugs. We just finished a 6 or 8 week emphasis on that. We've made, as I said, a number of arrests. We took out a number of pounds of drugs off the street. We got a
when
bunch
you say
of,
that, is it pills? Is it cocaine?
all of the above. This opioid, and I'm not going to woods. I say that we have some of that. We don't have as much as elsewhere. It kind of stops around that Clanton area. Hadn't gotten south. We are concerned, and we're trying to do everything we can to prevent that. But we do drug operations. We got 5 or 6 of our guys that are assigned to federal task force that are out there just doing these kinds of interdictions and undercover. If you'd have heard Scott Tatum, who runs our special ops organization, it takes 100 man hours. 100 man hours to set up a drug bust in Montgomery, Alabama, through preparation, the buying.
That's more what I'm talking about. when I say we need an increase in police officers. Not that you're going to stop someone getting murdered. I don't think your murder rate will go down. But I think if you can root out some of the for lack of a better word, the kingpins in the community,
Correct.
the 4 or 5 guys in this community who control the flow of 90% of the drugs.
And that's where we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Even if you could just, the guy whose car gets broken into, put a little bit more police time into tracking that guy down, because the guy breaking into cars one day is going to shoot somebody.
No question about it. We find that all the time.
The guy selling drugs one day is going to shoot somebody.
You know, about a month ago, there was a big publicity about some issues at Pike Road. Well, I didn't realize it at the time. I now know that there was a really good joint deal with the sheriff that started in the Pike Road incident, but we ended up doing an arrest here. I think there were 7 or 8 different not homicides, but criminal events that got solved because of those scenarios and working together.
Talk about the guy pulling on the door handles out there?
Yeah, exactly. We can go up to 530. It's not an issue of the dollars. It's an issue of recruiting, and it's an issue of retaining.
Yeah, retaining's a big deal.
45 to 50.
I'm a believer in the market. If you put enough money out there, people are going to come and want to be police officers.
And
if you put enough money out there, people are going to want to stay.
And that's a Glenn Pruitt deal. But here's the problem there, is we are very competitive with others around us.
If it's not money, why are people leaving?
For lots of reasons. Some of them leave because we ask them to leave. Most of them leave because of the 20 and 25-year retirement. And Montgomery, Alabama is right in the center of state government, so you got a lot of other agencies that they could retire. Like, for instance, take Matt, for instance. He's got 23 years with the police department. He could retire, and he'd make $40,000 or $50,000 of retirement, and he gets a $60,000 or $70,000 job with one of the agencies.
Don't give him ideas. Hell, he's sitting right next to you.
Well, we've had this conversation. but that's the point.
You're trying to run them off?
That's the point. In Montgomery, there are a lot of other opportunities because there's so many agencies that need law enforcement.
Yeah, and let me say this about going back to Bo Holt. I know where Bo lives. He lives right near where I grew up on Southview. Where he is, he can hear Adrian Lane, Barley Drive, Rosewood, Audubon, all those streets over there,
and everything on the south side of the bypass too.
Yeah, but in that area between Adrian Lane and where your son-in-law's business is, and all that area behind there, I've ridden through there when I would go have an appointment with your son-in-law's office when I had my boot. My God, it is like the ghetto over there.
And that was an area that about 3 months ago we actually focused on because some of the shots came down.
Right, and that's what Bo was hearing. And Bo was hearing Mona Lisa and those other streets over there that back up behind Baptist Hospital, Powelldale, and all that area. And it's true.
And guess what? When you make an arrest, what is it? It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, well, I know.
$500.
What is it? Discharging a weapon or disturbing the peace or something like that?
City limits, misdemeanor.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I go to the store. I go a lot of public places, and I see these damn 16, 17-year-old children holding children. I mean, and there's there are no repercussions. Parents don't get mad anymore when their kids are pregnant at age 15 and 16.
Well, we're paying them.
Well, I know.
We'll have to continue that another day unless you want to stay about 8 more hours.
And I'll have another heart attack.
That's a long conversation right there.